All right, another question that a lot of people are having is, how do we find a missing piece to a shape when you're given the area? I'm going to go ahead and start with the rectangle I have here, and I've also drawn it on graph papers so we can actually visualize what the answer should be. So as we're going through, we already kind of know what the answer is going to be. So we can see that this height should be equal to 2, because if we start down here and we go up, we go 1 square, 2 squares. So it should be 2 centimeters. So as I actually solve, it should come out to be that. Okay, so a formula for finding the area of a rectangle. So area equals base times height. So all I'm going to do is take that formula and fill in what I know. It says area equals 14 centimeters squared. So I'm going to rewrite 14 equals, and the base is 7, and I'm looking for the height. Okay, now we can rewrite that as 7h. So 14 equals 7h. Now this is a multiplication equation, so to solve it we use division. We want to get this h by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 7. And what's 14 divided by 7? That's 2. So h equals 2. And that right there is 2 centimeters. So we are correct. Okay, let's go ahead and do the parallelogram, because the formula for parallelogram is the same as the formula for area of a rectangle. So formula equals for parallelogram is base times height. Okay, now we have our area as 10 centimeters squared. Now look here, we're looking for the height, and I can kind of see it's probably going to be 2, but I'm going to solve it just to make sure. So 10 centimeters, so 10 equals, base is 5, height is missing. Okay, now we can rewrite this as 10 equals 5h. So this is a multiplication equation, so I use division to solve. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So h equals 2 again. So h equals 2 centimeters. Okay, now let's go ahead and go through our second to most trickiest one, the triangle. Okay, so the formula for a triangle is a little bit different. Okay, so the formula for a triangle is area equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, now I should get, when I solve this height, I'm should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's my goal. Hopefully that's going to come out to be right using this method. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. It says the area is 10 centimeters squared. So 10 equals, I'm going to put 1/2. My base is 4, and I'm looking for the height. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. And by the way, I put these dots just to signify that we're multiplying everything together. What I like to do is reverse the formula. Okay, so normally what you do is base times height divided by 2. Okay, so when we normally do the triangle, we do base times height, and then we take that and we divide it by 2. Okay, so we do base times height. I put that in parentheses, so we do first. Base times height divided by 2. So if you divide by 2 last, what's the opposite of dividing by 2? Multiplying by 2. So I like to do it that way. I feel like it's a little bit easier. So I basically am turning it back into a rectangle when I do this. So I'm gonna get rid of that half by multiplying both sides by 2. Okay, so get rid of that half by multiplying by 2. So what's 10 times 2? 20. So now what I've done is I've turned it back into a rectangle. Okay, so that's how I got rid of that half. So now I'm going to take this, and the inverse of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. Because remember, we multiplied here to get it. So we're going to work backwards. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So h equals 5. And it's 5 centimeters. And didn't I say that it's equal to 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're good. All right, now let's do the trapezoid. And my hand kind of erased a little bit of that, so let me just fix it. Okay, this is the most tricky one. The formula has a couple more steps. So area for trapezoid is 1/2 B1 plus B2 times the height. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fill in everything. And this is our height right here, because right here is our right angle. We call this a right trapezoid because it's got that right angle as part of the trapezoid. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. So B1, top 3, B2, the bottom is 5. It really actually doesn't matter which one is B1 and B2 because you're adding together. It doesn't matter which order you're adding. So, and then we're looking for the height. All right, now just like, oh wait, put the area in here. Sorry about that. It was 12 centimeters squared because that's what it said. Now, just like last time, remember I said, let's think about we do this backwards, right? Because formula, if we go forward, we add, multiply by the height, then divide by 2. So to get rid of dividing by 2, we multiply by 2. So that's what I like to do first. Multiply both sides by 2. So that gets rid of that half. So what's 12 times 2? 24. Now, if you remember back, this turns it back into a parallelogram, because if I copied this and I rotated it, this would be, actually it would turn into a rectangle because it's a right trapezoid, by the way. It would turn into a rectangle. Okay, so basically that's what I just did. I took that trapezoid and I doubled the area to turn it back into this. Okay, now I'm going to add these two together because before I try to divide, I'm going to have to add. So 3 plus 5 is 8. So 8h. Now, it's a multiplication equation, so I divide both sides by the number on the outside of the variable. So what's 24 divided by 8? That is 3. So h equals 3 centimeters. And if I count this, 1, 2, 3. The height is 3 centimeters. So that is solving for a missing piece in a formula.